Well, hello everybody. It is Chad and Emily with Colorado Giants coming to you from the greenhouse on a rainy day. So I apologize if you can't hear us that well. Ooh, lightning flash. Don't worry, the greenhouse is grounded. We won't get electrocuted, sweetheart. So before we start, thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. And at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about my tissue tests. So stick around to the end of the video. But starting with Ted. Ted was by far the winner this week and is getting huge. So Ted gained this week 231 pounds, which means it averaged 33 pounds per day, and it now is estimating at 801 pound on day 42. Second week in a row. That's right. It did the exact same amount of weight this week as it did last week. I'm having a hard time measuring it because it's starting to gain weight down around the butt, and unless I have my helper in, the beautiful wife of mine, I can't really accurately measure it. But it's still really tall. It's probably only what, maybe 2 foot across. It's not very wide. Yeah. Unlike vacuum, that's, you know, quite wide. This one's just tall. But I mean, the winner for the week by far. It's catching up to vacuum. It'll be interesting to see, you know, how this year ends. So let's go check out vacuum. So we'll start with vacuum, with us both laying on the pumpkin. So there is a little bit of vine stress on the stem, so that's not ideal. But you know, you can see I put pool noodle underneath the main vine, and you know, it still has some slack, but not enough slack for it to stop it from having some minor splits. Just want to throw out that this week was the patch tour, so that was really cool to have people come and check out the plants in the greenhouse, and see some of you YouTube fans came, and it was a really good time, and it was nice to ask questions and just see everybody and see other people's pumpkins and watermelons. Calvin had a watermelon that was like 150 pounds. It was awesome. So vacuum. What else was I supposed to say? What am I doing about the vine split? So I need to sever more roots and add more pool noodles to lift up the vine so it doesn't put pressure on that stem. So vacuum, the long-standing front runner, is starting to slow down. It has gained 106 pounds this week as the rain increases in intensity. I'm talking louder! 15 pounds per day with an estimated weight at 935 pounds. This will be the last week that I tell you weights. Yeah, hopefully it all comes out. And it's at day 52, so it's 52 days old. Oh, more lightning. Let's go look at dump truck. Well, yeah. So here we are with dump truck. This week it's notable that I did cut a bunch of leaves around all the pumpkins to free up some space around the plant so I could see what's going on. That's an impressive thunder. And dump truck in particular did have a little bit of aphid infestation that kind of got a little bit out of hand. I'm on top of it now, and then also powdery mildew has started to form just a skosh on a few spots of plants, but I'm on top of it. The situation is under control. Dump truck is either you love it or you hate it kind of shape. It's good. Got like a Z kind of shape to it. I kind of dig it. Emily's not a fan. But dump truck gained 111 pounds, averaging 15 pounds per day, estimating at 753 pounds, and it's 50 days old. So it's still trucking right along, that good old dump truck, and hopefully we'll make it to 1,000 on this one. But Emily's favorite at the end. Let's go see tractor. So last but definitely not least, and don't forget, we have the soil tissue test I'm going to tell you about at the end of the video. Tractor is still a beautiful orange pumpkin. You can see the little bit area right there that's less orange. Maybe it's not coming through on the camera, but that's part of the reason I cut the leaves back, is to help that orange up. And then the bushel gourd, I mean, my goodness gracious, the bushel gourd is still taking off I do hold the state record at 100 and what, 89, 81, 180 something pounds. It looks like it's on its way. It's definitely noticeably growing every day, so that's pretty cool, especially since that was an accident bushel gourd. But tractor's still trucking along. It's done 104 pounds this week, which means it's averaged 14 pounds per day. And do keep in mind, we always round down. It's more like high 14s, but we just call it 14 for grins. It's estimating at 746 pounds, and it is 51 days old. But, what? It is beautiful. We've never won a Howard Dill Award. This has a chance. It's got a good round shape. It's kind of ribby. It looks like a pumpkin. Whereas, you know, dump truck, blob. Yeah, vacuum's nice. Vacuum's gonna have that kind of cantaloupe texture to it, though. I wonder if tractor will have that. It doesn't look like it has it at the butt. Usually it starts at the stem. So that's it for the pumpkins this week. Again, this will be the last week I spill the beans on the weight. We're gonna go dark the last month. This is the last week in August. Woo! So September will kind of mum's the word. I might, update you on the weights of some of them, but the big tube back there, especially that one in the back, I got my fingers crossed that might be something kind of special. So let's go talk tissue tests. But first, if you don't know what powdery mildew looks like, this is powdery mildew. It's kind of looks like, moldy bread. So if you have mold on your bread and it's just it grows like a bacteria culture where it kind of just grows in a round pattern, it looks kind of fuzzy. The best way, once you have it, there's really not a whole lot you can do about it other than start getting more aggressive with your treatment. Get some Eagle 20, but the best thing to do is take that leaf off, throw it outside. Now let's go look at a tissue test. So Emily wanted me to show you the difference between like spray residue and powdery mildew. So the powdery mildew, you can see it's round and splotchy, and it looks like the mold. It is
a little raised too.
Yeah, a little fuzzy. So think like bread mold. Whereas like this is residue from me.
Hard water.
Yeah, hard water, fertilizer, spraying. Adding calcarb. It's pooling where the leaf is a little concave, and these are just dots. They're not raised. It's not like growing outward where like that. Looks like some sort of mold, because it basically is. So that is your difference between powdery mildew and just residue from your spray. So if you have this, don't go whacking off all your leaves. That is bad, bad, bad. That's bad. I mean, you could, even if you really want to get crazy with it, you could like snip that off, but ain't nobody got time for that. Nope. You can go. Thank you, sweetie. Bye. Taking your leaf. Will you take those other vine tips and throw them in the pile? Just right down there by the door. Okay, so on to tissue tests. So this tissue test I did July 15th. This one I did August 19th. So basically a month out from one another. When you send in your leaf to Western Labs, I did this basically very close to the pumpkin because I wanted to see what the results were near the pumpkin. So the first one, it tells you what your sufficient range is, what your results are. So nitrogen off the charts. I sent this to Ron Wallace and a few other people, and they basically always say nitrogen is always really, really high. I do need some phosphorus, and it'll tell you what it recommends you add. Some sulfur, a little bit of zinc, and copper. Everything else I'm pretty okay on. And then it says down there deficient, sufficient, and high. So you can use this chart to kind of tell you what you need to adjust. So knowing that, over the next month, I dialed back my nitrogen significantly. I added a little bit of zinc, a little bit of sulfur, a little bit of copper. And what do we got? So, interesting. I noticed the sufficient range is different too. It might be calculating some ratio of all this. But anyway, so nitrogen is way back, or nitrate, which is nitrogen. Phosphorus is, still I'm more deficient in that than I was. Hence, the triple superphosphate. I doubled between this month and this month. I doubled the amount of triple 12, TKO, and 0025. So I doubled the amount of what this is, because the pumpkins are going to be absorbing all of that. My potassium stayed basically the same. The sulfur got a little bit worse despite me adding large amounts of sulfur. Calcium went up, magnesium went up, zinc went down just a few points, manganese went up a lot, copper went down, iron went down, and boron is about the same. So, you know, my numbers did improve, because I was increasing the fertilizer in this number, so NPK, I've doubled the amount of this and this with my normal fertilization schedule. I usually do 2,500 mils, so if we get this, and on the 23rd, I did 250 mils of TKO and 250 mils of 0025, so I actually did 500. I did 500 mils of that, and then so I'm doubling those ones. And then because I'm still deficient in the phosphorus, I got some of this triple superphosphate. Unfortunately, I got pelleted, so which does me no real good, so I have it up in here in my cup, kind of like soaking to dissolve, so I can use that tomorrow. But yeah, so that's basically it. I do think this is worth it. This will set you back maybe, I think it's like $40 a shot. But if you're really trying for something special, you don't know what's working unless you can test for it. I mean, you can always look at your leaves and say, hey, this leaf is lighter than this leaf, so it's newer leaf. But it pays to know. Information, knowledge is power, and the only way you can do that is to send it in and get it tested, so you know how the plant is responding to what you're doing. So all in all, plants are responding well. Fruits are responding well. The two kind of slow truckers are just chugging right along, which is fine. And then the two front runners back there are doing quite well. I love the Shape on Vacuum. Ted's doing great back there, and if Ted keeps it up this time next week, right? Yeah, Ted will be at least the same. So if Vacuum does another 100 pounds and Ted sticks with the 200 pounds, then they will be the same weight. They all might be about 1,000 pounds next week. Yeah, because Ted did 231, Vacuum did 106. So yeah, they might both be at 1,000 pounds next week. Fingers crossed. And then we can, count down the last 3 weeks till our first weigh off. So, signing off for this week. I appreciate you watching the video. Again, please subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend. Get out there and grow yourself giant pumpkins. See you next week.